Imagine an empire, vast and powerful, stretching from the Mediterranean to the borders of China, a realm of unparalleled cultural brilliance, where philosophy, poetry, and science flourished under mighty warrior kings. This was the great Seljuk Empire at its zenith. At its heart, for an astonishing 60 years, stood Sultan Sanjar, the last great Seljuk Sultan, whose life mirrored the empire's dramatic arc. Born Abu al-Harith Muiz ad-Din Ahmad Sanjar around 1086, son of the legendary Sultan Malik Shah I, his reign, spanning from 1097 to 1157, was a testament to resilience and strategic genius. For over 2 decades, from 1097 to 1118, Sanjar served as the Prince Governor of Khorasan. This period was not just an apprenticeship, it was a deliberate, highly successful state-building phase, transforming Merv into one of the Islamic world's most vibrant intellectual and artistic centers. Sanjar chose Merv as his capital, investing deeply. He engineered its golden age, overseeing extensive irrigation projects linked to the Mergab River, securing economic stability for a vast urban population. Understanding true power was intellectual and cultural. He attracted the brightest minds, scholars, poets like Anvari and Adib Sabir, and scientists flocked to Merv, drawn by generous stipends and magnificent libraries. Merv boasted numerous madrasas and observatories, some rivaling Baghdad's, earning it the mother of the world. This stable period honed Sanjar's administrative skills, built a loyal power base, and developed a governance vision prioritizing stability, prosperity, and cultural flourishing, laying the true foundation for his extensive rule. As Sanjar consolidated power, an insidious new threat emerged: the Nizarius Malis, known as the Assassins. Operating from impregnable mountain fortresses like Alamut, they employed targeted assassinations, sowing widespread paranoia. Sanjar, initially dismissive, launched a major campaign around 1117. However, a chilling anecdote altered his perception. Sanjar awoke in his heavily guarded tent to find a dagger plunged beside his bed, with a note from HasanISabbah. The message was stark: if we had not wished the Sultan well, the dagger would have been plunged into his breast. This wasn't a direct threat, but a terrifying demonstration of their infiltration capability. Faced with this reality, pragmatic Sanjar abandoned his campaign. He sought a truce, a non-aggression pact where Ismailis ceased assassinations in exchange for autonomy. This allowed Sanjar to focus military resources on other threats, like the Ghaznavids and Khorasan Shahs, while cementing the assassins' fearsome reputation. While Sanjar navigated this shadow war, another storm gathered: the Kara-Khitan, a new nomadic power led by Yelu Dashi. Sanjar, accustomed to victory, fatally underestimated them. In 1141, the catastrophic Battle of Qatwan ensued. The Seljuk army, reliant on heavy cavalry, was disastrously outmatched by the Kara-Khitan's mobile archer tactics. The battle became a devastating rout. Sanjar narrowly escaped. Qatwan was not just a military defeat, it was a profound psychological and symbolic unraveling. The loss of Transoxiana and immense prestige signaled to ambitious vassals, including the Khorasan Shahs and Ghuzz Turks, that the Sultan's power was no longer absolute. Qatwan was the crack in the Seljuk dam, opening the floodgates for the empire's fragmentation and ending Seljuk hegemony in the Islamic East. While Qatwan was a devastating external blow, the subsequent Ghuzz rebellion and Sanjar's 3-year captivity from 1153 to 1156 represented an even more profound, personally devastating turning point. It laid bare the fragility of power and deep-seated grievances within his own empire. The Ghuzz, Turkic nomadic tribes from whom the Seljuks originated, had been settled by Sanjar as crucial military manpower. However, their nomadic lifestyle often clashed with settled agricultural populations over grazing rights. The Ghuzz uprising was triggered by Sanjar's administration, particularly his viziers, attempting to impose stricter control and collect heavy taxes. Ignored complaints fostered resentment. In 1153, provoked by egregious demands and the execution of their chiefs, the Ghuzz rose in revolt. Sanjar, tragically underestimating their resolve, personally led his army against them near Bal. In a catastrophic battle, the Ghuzz inflicted a crushing defeat, decimating Sanjar's elite guard and capturing the Sultan himself. Sanjar's captivity was not a dark dungeon. Instead, it was a gilded cage, a mobile house arrest. The Ghuzz, recognizing his immense symbolic value, forced him to accompany their nomadic migrations, always under strict guard. He was paraded around, compelled to witness their depredations and even rule from their midst, effectively legitimizing their actions. He was subjected to public taunts, sometimes seated on a donkey, a profound psychological humiliation. The true torment was profound psychological despair. He watched, powerless, as his empire was systematically destroyed. Merv, his beloved capital, was utterly ravaged, sacked, its libraries burned, scholars dispersed. Contemporary accounts describe Sanjar as broken in spirit, often weeping openly. After 3 agonizing years, in 1156, loyalists led by Izz al-Din orchestrated a daring escape. During a hunting expedition, Sanjar slipped away to the fortress of Termit. His escape was a triumph, but short-lived. He returned to a shattered empire. Khorasan was devastated, its cities ruined. The Ghuzz continued their depredations, and various regional powers had asserted independence. Though free, Sanjar found himself a sultan without a functioning state. Despite his advanced age, in his 70s, and profound trauma, he attempted to restore order and rebuild parts of Khorasan. But the task was too immense, his spirit too weary. Sultan Sanjar died just a year later, in 1157, reportedly of grief and sheer exhaustion over his empire's irretrievable state. His life was a microcosm of the Seljuk Empire. Immense power and cultural brilliance, followed by precipitous decline. He was a formidable commander who maintained the Seljuk legacy for 6 impressive decades. His reign saw the rise of new, formidable threats: the assassins' ideological warfare, the Kara-Khitan's crushing military might, and the internal rot of the Ghuzz rebellion. His personal experiences, from the chilling psychological warning of the dagger in the ground to the profound humiliation and despair of his captivity, offer a unique window into the relentless challenges faced by medieval rulers. Sanjar's death in 1157 marked not just the end of a long, eventful life, but truly the end of the great Seljuk Empire as a unified entity. He remains a complex and tragic figure, the last Colossus before the Twilight.